All right, we are being recorded. And let me see. Oh, okay, we're going to get started, even though I don't know, can't really see who is joining us. We do have someone here. So hi, everyone. We're going to get started because we are running a little late, but we're really excited to have all of you here joining us today. First of all, my name is Xiaoyan Zhao. I am the Executive Director of the World Affairs Council of Kentucky and Southern Indiana. And today I'm excited to be having this kind of a Q&A info session about our Academic WorldQuest. This is really meant to kind of provide many of the educators, parents, teachers, students a way to learn more about this competition. We have been hosting this competition for well over 10 years since it started in the 2000s. And it's one of the kind of very unique competitions around that specifically and exclusively focuses on global knowledge. And so it's nationally run out of the World Affairs Councils of America. And then at the regional level, it is hosted by councils at the local level. So we have been doing this for quite a number of years. Before we get started, just a really quick thing about World Affairs Council, so you know who we are. We have been around for 35, almost 40 years in the community in Kentucky, located in Louisville, Kentucky. We are a regional hub for international exchange, dialogue, and learning. And we facilitate a lot of professional as well as youth exchanges, many of them on behalf of the U.S. Department of State. But we connect all of our international guests with the local organizations, institutions throughout the Kentucky and Southern Indiana region. We also provide opportunities for the public to learn from various experts and policymakers and diplomats about global issues such as international security, trade, climate change, immigration, just to name a few. And then, of course, we provide students with an opportunity to increase their global awareness and knowledge through programs like the Academic WorldQuest, which is the topic of our session today. So I'm really excited to have, for the first time, a coach who has been doing this longer than I have been here. And Esther Tamplin, who has been the coach for Manual's Academic WorldQuest team for over 10 years, I believe, Esther. And she started when her sons were at Manual and was a parent coach. And they have long since graduated and gone beyond all the graduations, but she has continued to coach for the team at Manual. So she have taken teams to the national competition multiple times, and the teams have consistently placed in the top 10 regularly. So it's a great opportunity for us to really bring her in, and Esther has been really generous with her knowledge and expertise to share a little bit more about what it is about the competition that she's willing to put out her time through the years as a coach, and to kind of give everybody else a sense of the commitment and the work that's involved. So, you're not all scared off and saying, coaching is a lot of time and, I can't do this. So we want to hear from Esther about that. After we have a conversation with Esther, Malira, who is our AWQ coordinator, she's going to be running the competition in March, and she's going to give you a quick overview of how the competition will actually run. So without further ado, we'll get started with Esther. And so just a quick thing about Academic WorldQuest. I mean, it's a knowledge competition of about 100 questions, multiple choice, 10 rounds. And students just huddle in their teams to kind of each decide what the answer to each question is going to be during that 1 minute time frame. And so, Coach Tamplin, you've been doing this for so many years, and you continue to coach even after your sons have graduated. What motivates you to do this over and over and put in the time, the precious time that you give to this competition?
Well, thank you. There are several reasons. I think one of the reasons is that I learn a lot myself. The study guide provides different areas of study. And this year, for instance, I learned a lot about the Arctic Council, which I never would have read about without WorldQuest. The other two topics we've already delved into are atrocity prevention, and now we're getting into a food scarcity across the globe. And so I read the articles and I learn things that I would not even pick up in my daily reading of the news. So for me, it's fun to learn about these topics. Another reason I enjoy it is that I really like young people, and especially as I get older, but I've always enjoyed young people, but it's just so refreshing to be able to spend time with these young folks. And it's amazing what you learn from them. For instance, I didn't know that there are school teams that are where the kids do video games. They compete against each other, schools in video game competition. So I learn a lot about what's going on in the world from the young people, and it's just fun. And what else? Oh, and then I really enjoy the academic competition, which is a little crazy, but when I was growing up a long time ago, this would have been so much fun for me, and I've always enjoyed being involved in academic competition. So those are some of the reasons I have enjoyed doing WorldQuest. Of course, initially it was fun to just be with my children and their path through high school, but I enjoy all these other young people as well.
Yeah, that's something that I think is really important that gets lost is, just the process of preparing for competition is really the knowledge that you gain. And I've said to many of the teams that's participated over the years is that, compete to win is a great thing. And there's always so much fun to be competitive. But just going through the process, you gain so much more knowledge than you did starting from zero, right? Without having done it at all. So everyone who participates is already ahead of the game in terms of what they know compared to people who haven't. So that's a skill that I think is really important for students. And you talked about how you're learning from this, and I think for some of the coaches, it's very time consuming. Tell us, what is the time commitment for you as a coach generally?
Well, there's no denying that it is quite a time commitment. I would say that I spend at least 4 hours every week, at least through the fall until the state competition, preparing worksheets for the young people. So we meet, our team meets, the way we do it is we meet once a week. It's like a club event, a club participation event. And we meet for a half an hour before school. And I give the young people 2 worksheets. One is on news of international importance. So not national news, but international news. Each week they bring articles dealing with what's happening in Ukraine, Brazil, whatever. And each student brings 2 articles, and then I prepare a worksheet from their news articles. And then I also prepare a worksheet from the study guide for Academic WorldQuest. And that really does take a good bit of time. So I would say at least 4 hours of my preparing the worksheets. I don't think the children, I've asked them, I don't think they spend more than an hour completing the worksheet. So I don't think for them it's much of a burden. And then we meet and we go over the worksheets, and we have new news each week. And we usually start in September when the study guide becomes available on the World Affairs Council of America website. And then we do this until close to time for the regional competition when I give all my students a quiz to determine who's team one, who's team two.
Hmm.
And then, shall I go on and tell you about the rest of the preparation or not? If we win the state competition,
Yep.
if we do, then then I ask, so there will be then 4 participants
Mhm.
making up a team, and I each ask of the students to take 2 of the topics and make a study guide. So I'm sort of through with my hard work when it comes after the state competition. I don't spend 40 hours anymore. So they make a study guide, and then we continue to go over the news every week, and then we go to the nationals and see how we do. I will say that that Manual has won the national competition 3 times and come in second and third several other times.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a combination of my preparing them, but also they have to put a lot of time and work into preparing as well. I certainly, by the end of April, don't know nearly as much about these topics as they do, but I did learn some.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and now we know why Manual goes to nationals, because of the work that's put in. Absolutely. I mean, it's like anything we do, right? I mean, the more work you put in, the more time you put in, the more prepared you're going to be. But, for many of those that are out there just thinking to start a team, I know it's a challenge finding a coach. And we always say, it's important to have an adult who supervises the group, right? A group of students who's shown some interest in doing this competition. And whether you put in a lot of time or less time, right? That doesn't matter so much. It's really to make sure that students are having oversight of someone, ensuring that they are on top of the task, they are getting ready and prepared to some level. And there may be many different ways of getting prepared, right? Some may just say, we're going to divide up this to the students. Each of you take a couple of topics and you really know your stuff. And then we come back and go over it together. And so in terms of preparation as a coach, certainly you put a lot of time in it, but you can be a parent as you have been. You can also be a teacher, right? As a coach, anyone can be a coach, any adult can be a coach for the team. And in terms of the preparation, it's really however much or little that you put into it. But certainly a lot of the work is on the coach, and a lot of the work is really on the students, right? I mean, some students, they may not pull as much weight, but it shows in the team, as with any kind of competition. I guess one of the things, I wondered from you, what do you think is motivating the students to really keep up that work to do, to be part of this team? Is it that they are interested in the things that they're reading in this thing, the topics, or is it the prospect of going to a national competition? What do you think keeps them coming back all the time and doing as well as they do? Be prepared.
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I do think the students who choose to participate are interested in the world out
Mhm.
there, not just in their own studies. And
Yeah.
so I think the competition does attract young people who are interested in the world, which we all should be, of course. And then it is kind of really fun to go to Washington, D.C. and get to go to museums and get to listen to inspiring speakers, and just have fun together outside of Kentucky. So I think both. I think the children the young people are motivated both by their interest in international affairs as well as their desire to get a free trip to Washington. Yeah.
Yes, and that is just for many of the people that's listening or thinking about forming a team for their schools. It is, every school, every high school from 9th to 12th grade, um, every school, they can send up to 2 teams of 4 each per team to this competition. And then, yeah, and then the students I think they can all have the same coach for both teams. And the competition we run, which Malara will go over, is, we really determine the top 3 winners. Of course, the winning team gets to go to the national competition held every year in April in Washington, D.C., where they compete with other high schools from other World First Council competitions. And then they get perhaps a prize over there. But that competition is all paid for through our Academic WorldQuest scholarship for this specific purpose. So that is a wonderful way to just kind of get out and experience some of the DC when you can. So that's definitely an incentive to be competitive and win. And I know that, we've had some teams throughout the years that's done really well, and they've done it in different ways. So that's something that we're really looking forward to, hopefully getting back on track with some of the odd times that we've had in the last 2 years. I know that many schools had a hard time just getting students involved in anything, but I feel like this year, hopefully we can get back on track. Esther, can you tell us a little bit more about what is the timeline for your process in terms of when do you start forming that team and really get your, let's say, your studying habit together? Does it start in the very beginning of school year or closer to the competition even?
Well, we start usually, school's been going about a month. So school here starts in August, and we started this year in mid-September, which is about the time the study guide came out. So, and then we meet every week for half an hour. This year it's Tuesday mornings from 7 to 7:30. We start before school, really because that's convenient for me. So I did choose that.
And you get all the students to there in the morning?
Yeah, I think the academic counselors, the academic coaches sort of recruit the young people to come.
Okay.
Before we had this break because of COVID, sort of young people would pass it on from one group of students to another, but there was this break. So I don't know, I have a new whole group of young people. Only one young man who's a senior was a freshman when we last had a team. And but they recruit, and they're showing up on Tuesday mornings. Some of them haven't done the work, but most of them have, and they rather apologize, but it's not to my detriment, it's to theirs if they don't prepare. So whatever. But the thing that you and I think a point to make is that for these young people to learn about the world and to learn just facts about news and what's going on in Ukraine and China and Australia is so important. And of course, we all want our children to be able to think critically. That's important for these young people, but you really can't think critically unless you know something. And so WorldQuest really provides young people, even if they don't win, it provides them with an opportunity to learn about the world and to learn facts about the world. And I think that's really important. So whether you win or lose, this is a really valuable endeavor. And I would strongly encourage other schools to get involved. I know teachers have a lot of commitments and they work so hard and are underappreciated, but perhaps you could find another parent like me who has interest in being with their children and encouraging them in learning about the world, and recruit someone like that to do the coaching, because I do know that the teachers are overburdened. Anyway.
No, you said so many important points right there. There's a lot of pieces I wanted to pick up on. So one thing is we talked about the process from beginning. to end. So our registration for Academic WorldQuest starts in October. We want to actually starting even at the end of September sometimes, because we want students to get into school, get settled a little bit before we get them into this thinking about starting a Academic WorldQuest team. So teams can begin organically from students. They may know about it and they say, I want to get 3, 4 other students that I know will be interested and form a team, and we'll find a teacher or someone to be our designated coach. A lot of times also, as you say, Esther, in Manual is different. They have an academic coach who manages a lot of the competitions, and they help recruit the students to do that. And I think other high schools are, maybe similar, maybe one teacher in a social studies class, or perhaps a counselor, or another administrator who say, this is really an important competition for our students to get it involved in. And we may have some students that really kind of have that inclination, but may not know about it. And, especially when we talk about the backpack skills of success, global competency is one area that is very much emphasized, but it's one of the least well understood area for most of the at least JCPS system, the schools. That's one of the problematic areas. And so, teams can form anyway. Teachers can help form them by recruiting students who might be interested, students who want to know more and they know others like them are willing to commit the time. And then parents can absolutely say, I want to coach. I think this is important for my kid. Let me see if we can get a couple other students together and form a team. So our registration's open now, and it is open until the end of December. So any school, anyone can register directly on our website. The other thing that point that you made, I thought is so important, is about this whole knowledge about international issues, right? I mean, we live in a very uncertain world right now. I mean, there's conflicts popping up left and right, and the conflicts are not just they're not limited to those areas. They have global implications, right? We feel it here. We feel in the gas prices and the prices of our food, because we're so interconnected as a global system. And in our, in the students' time, their lifetime, they're really going to have to understand and deal with that. So your point about that knowledge of learning about these things, having the basic facts understood before they can analyze, is so important. And that's what Academic WorldQuest is all about, right? It's about them learning the facts, and then that's what we're kind of, the competition is all about that. But I also say that the study guide and the people that put this together, which is through the World Affairs Councils of America, this is what we do on a regular basis, right? We try to inform our public, our communities, our students on global issues. And you can be assured that the sources we use are going to be legitimate sources, right? We're talking about a lot of, misinformation, disinformation that goes on around all of us, and kids probably get that from all over the place. But this, the information we provide, the articles that we have, the study guide, those are from areas, from sources that are very legitimate, that has been vetted, that we know that you can rely on for accurate information, if I will. So I think that's a very important point that you made. I just want to really pick up on that. I guess, those are some of the biggest questions that we wanted to get from you. So, just to, as we close out and maybe move to Malara for some of the more of the competition of how it's going to run, is there anything else that you want to tell us that we should know, whether as parents or as coaches or as students, that you think it's important for them to keep in mind as they consider whether or not to form a team to participate in this competition? And any best practices and things that you would avoid for any, whether it's a coach or maybe a student.
Well, I think I've already told you how we do it and what I
Yep.
think, but I think it's a lot of fun. So you mustn't forget that, because learning is fun. And I hope that you can find young people who enjoy learning as much as I do.
Yeah.
And I actually think it's really, really important that our young people, especially I think in Kentucky sometimes, realize that there's a great big world out there and we're all interconnected. And in order for us to make sound decisions as best we can, we just need more information and more knowledge that is reliable. And I think this is the World Affairs Council of America is a very reputable organization,
Mhm.
and I'm been grateful to have been a little part of it these last probably 20 years. Anyway, I'm going to keep going, and I just think it's such a good program, and I just wish that many more people would sign on.
Yes. And Esther, if you're okay, I know there may be a lot of people who are thinking, they may have some questions about being a coach. Are you okay if they reach out to us and we connect them with you to be able to kind of, talk through about, what's a little bit more things that we may not have gotten through today, to really kind of dig a little bit deeper. You would be okay with that?
That'd be great. I'd love to talk to anyone. Yes.
Well, we love the fact that you're so committed to this, and we want to make this a much more competitive and fun competition for our region. And Malira is going to talk about the competition, how it's running, because she actually came in last year and started this and said, how can we make this a little bit more, fun, like a game of sorts. And she came up with a great idea. So I want her to kind of talk us through how that's going to run. And then in the meantime, if you are, while you're listening, everybody else, if you have any questions that we haven't gotten to, please send them over to us. Either use the Q&A or send us a chat, and we're happy to answer those. So Malira, over to you.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Happy you all are here. So I'm excited to share details about the typical run of show for the competition. So on the morning of, all of your teams and coaches will come and check in, and then you'll sit within your respective teams. And to add some fun, we put it into the format of the popular game show Jeopardy! So we do have a Jeopardy! Board where you'll see all of the topics at the top, and there are 4 different rounds with 25 questions in each round. So once we start, or once everyone is seated, we go through and we'll have everyone guess a number between 1 and 50. And then whoever is closest to the chosen number, we have them kick off the game. And so each table is to designate a speaker, and that person will always be the one to select the category that the team wants to start with and the level. And so, of course, in your typical Jeopardy game, you have the different numbers from like 100 on down, but all of our points are valued at 1 point, and you're still able to choose whichever level you want to start with. So there's no verbal answering of the questions, unlike the game. So you have a scoreboard that mirrors what you see on the screen, and you'll simply circle A, B, C, or D on your game card. And so you'll have a game card for round 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's see. And then, so we'll do our first 50 questions in rounds 1 and 2, and then we'll break for lunch and then come back for rounds 3 and 4. Each team is told their amount of points at the end of each round so that they can get even more excited to try to jog their memories for things that they're kind of struggling with in the moment, but it is all in good fun. And yes, so all of the topics have been chosen. They are in the study guide that is available on our website, and we're happy to share those off if you would like to know them at like right now. But those are kind of the main pieces. Once all of the questions have been answered and the scoreboards are turned in to the judges, we will let the winning team know who has won. And in the event of a tie, we do have some separate tiebreaker questions that are prepared. And then from there, we'll have you all answer them, and then we'll decide who the official winner is. And so all participants in the competition walk away with at least a certificate because we're happy that you participated. And then our top 3 teams will walk away with a medal and some gift cards. And then our number 1 team, outside of winning that free trip to DC, you'll walk away with a trophy that you can showboat in your school. Yeah, so those are kind of the main pieces. If I'm missing anything, Cheyenne, please share.
No, I think that's pretty comprehensive. That's pretty much it. The competition is usually on Saturday. I dropped it in the chat. This year it's going to be March 11th. It's a Saturday. It's held at Bellarmine University's Fraser Hall, that big open space. They have a great facility, very open, so teams have their own, they can distance from others. And it's usually from, I believe, 9 to 2 o'clock. We allot that time frame. Doesn't usually take that long. Sometimes things go by very quick. As Malara said, the teams get about a minute to finish, to select their answers. And we do go over the rounds with the correct answers every couple of rounds. So you know what you're getting. And sometimes students are really, really sharp about, you got that wrong, I have a question, and they can always challenge if they have a question about the answer. And we do have a couple of judges who will tally the scores, and then they can review any challenges based on that. So there's all of these, just like any competition, I would say, all of these things built in. So students definitely are empowered to do those, challenge anything they think is incorrect. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Any last other thoughts before we see? I don't have any questions right now in this, but if you do have any questions for us, please feel free to contact us. Our website is worldkentucky.org. The webpage is also put in the chat. We're going to have to update it soon. I realized that we had some dates on there. That's not correct in terms of info session and all that, but the study guide is out, and we have, a whole bunch of other deadlines on there. So we're going to update that, but that is the place where you will go for just basic information. Some things don't change. So, and if you are interested and you have any questions and you want to connect with Esther, who is the coach extraordinaire about this, anything AWQ, let me know. You're welcome to send me an email. Here's my email. I'm putting it in the chat right now. And just let me know that you would like to get in touch with Coach Tamplin and learn more about the coaching process. So
I would be glad to speak with anyone and give them hints and encouragement. So please contact me if you want.
Yes, thank you. And we're really looking forward to this year and another fun set of competition. But the competition is fun if we can get everybody out there. So if you're not sure that you can do it with your school, but you have other teachers in other high schools, so you think that they might be able to form a team, get the word out. We want to get as many high schools to participate as possible. Just, we run the regional competition, which means any school in Kentucky and even Southern Indiana high schools are able to participate in this competition. So if you have colleagues that's in Lexington, in Frankfort, in Northern Kentucky, even, and Southern Indiana, that you think they might really learn and enjoy this, please spread the word and bring them there, because it'll be even more fun when we have a lot of students compete.
I have one more thing to add.
Yes.
Even if you don't prepare for it, get 4 students and come and just sort of get them interested this year. Because I think they'll think it's a lot of fun.
I think you're right. I think we tend to think it's all about academics and nobody wants to. But hey, this is better than quick recall. you have a chance to go national free of charge, and you get lots of little other prizes. So I mean, if you want to do quick recall, this is even better. And for those students who do not get into the quick recall, those types of competitions, this might be another alternative and maybe a different way to get involved with academic competitions. So thank you so much, Esther, for helping us and really kind of unpacking the information about being a coach, and for Malara for helping us through the competition. And I know we're going to have be sending out more information, but please don't forget to register your team. It is going to be, there's a registration fee of about $50 right now until probably in December. Don't wait till later. We're going to charge a little bit more for registration. If you have any hardship about registration, you can always contact us. As always, we want to make sure that we have registration to kind of help defray some of the costs, but the most important thing is to make sure that students and the teams are committed to the competition. And that's why there is a dollar that's connected to this. So let us know, but definitely register. So thank you all so much. We appreciate the time, and we're going to have this recording and we'll put it up on our website and share it. So if you want to share this afterwards, please feel free to do so. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.